All right. Hey, everyone. I am going to be going over Chruchi. So I'm going to do my face. This is a first look on Chruchi. It's cold in here. So it's, I'm wondering if all of this makeup will be really cold. I actually have my eyeliner pencil under my armpit. I know that's super weird, but I'm used to eyeliners that go on a little bit smoother. And this one seemed like it was maybe just too cold. So I'm just messing with their eyeliner here and I'm like, it's not really going on well. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it a little warm. Do you guys remember I don't know, when I was in high school, we used to like breathe on the eyeliners, or you take a lighter to it. So we're gonna see, because I know on their website, this says that it goes on real smooth, but like it's not even going on my hand. So we're gonna get this to work. I think it's just cold. So one of the things about Chruchi, I was just waiting for all of the stuff to come. They have really good recycling stuff. So everything, I'm just seeing if I can maybe prime this here. Maybe that's gonna work better. Got to get all of maybe the initial wax coating off or something. They have a lot of different things. Like I think Young Living has this as well. It's a little brush cleaner. So I like that. They do have a full line of brushes. And they're pretty. They're actually good brushes, and they're like Savvy Minerals. So if you know, they feel the same, they feel similar. This one's a little bit different though, but anyhow, and they're wrapped. This is the number 1 flat top brush. So they're wrapped in their little signature paper here, which again, it's biodegradable, right? Instead of putting everything in plastic, I just can't get into them. I can't see. I think that's my biggest problem. What's nice about this is it's more biodegradable. Now there is still plastic, so like they're wrapping it with stuff that then wrapping it again. But this is their makeup applicator brush. So you can see it's similar to Young Living's. Get all of this off. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's plastic on plastic. So, you know, to say that it's fully clean, not so much, but this is a synthetic brush. And again, when you think about, there's natural hair brushes versus synthetic. And I actually think the synthetics tend to work a little bit better, but you got to be aware, don't use these with oils. So synthetic brushes will get real funky. So I'll have to look that up to see if these are synthetic or not. So they might not be, but okay. So let's just get into, and again, if you're trying to learn how to clean this brush, it has a little suction, so you can just, but it's nice because in between applications, you can just wipe it off. I usually use like a microfiber cloth, but I ended up getting that because I wanted to be able to try theirs out. So it's nice. Okay, so step 1. They do have a foundation sample card. However, there's not enough on there to really know. So when I was doing them, and there's not all the colors. So color 1 isn't on there. I think it's like 1.5 and then 2.5 or something like that. So the very lightest color is not on there. So I picked the 2.5 because it actually matched my skin better. But because the other one was really yellow. So their colors are fairly warm. So do know that if you tend to have real pink face and you like it to be pink, I don't. So I think that's probably why they chose to go ahead and do more warm toned colors, because most of us like warmer tones. So I ended up, because the second one was out of stock, I ended up getting 1.0. So we'll just see how we do. Now, is like the very lightest color. And typically I don't wear the very lightest color. So this is my Alibi. And this is their, actually, let me back up. So this is their, like it's a primer plus concealer. So I guess I could use that first, but they do have the actual Smart Primer here. So I'm gonna put this on first. And we're just gonna, you know, you can put, they have eye primer and different things. I'm just putting this all over. Because again, remember, my face is really ruddy, and you can even see my hands are not as red as my face. So for whatever reason, my face skin is just really, really red, and I don't like that look. So So my Alibi is a fairly aggressive concealer, which is kind of cool, because it will cover up everything apparently. So let's just see how we do here. And I believe they have like concealer brushes that you can use if you wanted to. And so as far as, I'm going to be doing a second review. So just know this is just the first look on this brand. And we've been talking a lot about dimethicone and the fact that it is a silicone and it is plastic. And so that's what most companies, they feel like, you know what, it's clean, it's technically not toxic, it helps the makeup stay longer. So a lot of the companies like like, what was it? The couple that we did that were just really, really heavy. They had a lot of silicone in them, multiple different types of silicones, and dimethicone is like at the top of the list. This is a brand that does really the only ingredient I found that's troublesome to me, which isn't to most, is the dimethicone. There's dimethicone in their products, pretty much all of them, but they're low on the ingredient list. So, you know, some of you are be like, you know, and you can start seeing, I'm starting to break out from using a lot of these other products that had like, usually it's the synthetic dyes that break me out. So whatever. So I'm going to see how this wears today, even with it having some dimethicone. And what I mean by that is it's a lower amount. So it's not as much as some others are. All right. So I usually, like I said, my nose is very easy to make up coming off. So most people wouldn't put concealer like on the tip of their nose, but because I'm constantly touching my nose, I have pretty severe allergies and sinusitis and things where I'm, you know, I have a deviated septum. So my nose is always giving me problems, and I'm always, you know, using a tissue or, you know, using my finger to itch my nose or something. So my makeup tends to come off. And so we'll just see if this makeup does that or not. And I can use, you know, if you know, want to smooth this out. To me, concealer doesn't matter if it's super smoothed out, because we're going to actually go ahead over this with all of the foundation. So it's fairly thick. Again, it is cold in here though. So we're at like 66 degrees in the house, which is colder than it should be, but that's okay. So this is the Chruchi primer. It's the Beautifully Flawless Foundation 1.0. So it will look yellow. I already tried it just to see if it was like okay color. So some of you apply your cream foundation with your fingers and some of you use, so you can see it's definitely, this is the lightest color and it's definitely yellow. But again, we want to smooth it out, because what we're trying to do is get my skin tone to match my actual skin tone. And remember, we talked about this, like when you push on the part of your skin to get the blood out, it turns the actual color of your skin. So, and you can use less of this, and I'm going to put it on my eyes as well. And then once it's on, just for ease, again, this is what dimethicone will do, is it just coats your whole face. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, she looks terrible. I love makeup, people putting on makeup, because I think people they look ridiculous at first until it's done. And then you're like, oh yeah, that looks totally fine. So I'm gonna pull this down, and I'm gonna use this to just smooth this out. So, but so just so we're clear, like I feel, and Tim will probably agree, this might be too light for me, but it gets rid of all of my redness. And so again, see, it's gonna match my ears a little bit better. It's just, I have a very pink face. So once you get that in, then we would start adding the colors that we want on the face for, even I can feel my nose itching already. So I'm just gonna use this to push my nose. Oh, my nose. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna write up all of the things of all the companies and where they stand, what they get as far as a percentage. There's 10 different elements that I'm voting on, that I'm kind of scoring companies on based on how I feel. all different things. So from how it looks to how Tim feels it looks. One of you gave me some hassles about that of like, what does it matter what your husband thinks? And I'm like, well, he's the one that has to look at me. I don't have to look at me, right? So, you know, I want my husband to think I look nice, because I think too many of us are like, whatever, if I like it, it's fine. What if your husband doesn't like a lot of makeup? What if your husband likes more makeup, right? So ask him what he likes. Okay, then the other thing is right now they're out of their blush, which is not a huge problem because I can take, we have here their Everlux, it's like a lip crayon. And they have a lot of different colors of this. So you can, lip crayons are easy to transfer into blush. So I'm just gonna put some on the end of this just so I don't put too much on. And then I usually like smile just to make sure it's on the apples. And then I can take the rest of it here and just kind of fan it out. But you can already see my face matches my neck now. So in the beginning of the video, you probably were like, that doesn't look good at all. But I don't want to match my pink face, right? So that's an important thing. And I don't mind having a little bit of blush kind of coming back in, but be careful about maybe matching your skin. Sometimes we want to like tone down a certain color and do that. So looking good so far. Now they have the translucent finishing powder, which is the most basic finishing powder I've ever seen. It's just silica. So that's nice because it's nothing but like very finely powdered silica, which that's good. There's not much in it. One ingredient. This is just going to help with the shine. So you don't want to put too much on because it is a white powder. And it's technically translucent on pretty much most skins because it should just, the oils of your skin and stuff should just pull into it and then not be problematic. So I could have applied the entire makeup with this brush. I'm not used to doing that, so I didn't. I just wanted to do what I'm used to doing. So I'm going to use their colors here, this eye color palette. I don't have an actual crunchy brush for my eyes, so I'm just going to use a little thing here that's going to make it easier for me to put it on in a video as opposed to using a mirror. So I'm looking at the actual video screen. So anyhow, but I'm putting the highlighter. So this color palette is volume 1 of the shadow bar. And I could probably back up for a second and put the actual eyeliner on. That's usually better to do. So let me do that. It's harder to put eyeliner on when you have all the shadow on because, you know, it's like too much shadow. So this is supposed to go on really smooth and creamy, but be waterproof, but it's definitely not. So this pencil, I'm not a huge fan of right now because even it's hard to even get any off onto this here. I don't use pencils that much anymore. If anything, I would use the darker color as a liner. So I'm just gonna do this just to see if it will go on, but maybe I need a lighter, right? So let's see if I can even get this to go on. And again, it is cold in here. So anytime you're using pencils that have all the wax in it, it's like impossible. So I'm not gonna try. And I don't have a lighter because I don't smoke. So, and I don't use that kind of makeup anymore. So that one is too hard to use. So let me see if I can find, oh, where did I put it? It's a problem doing the makeup, right? Because I've got all this stuff everywhere. And then I just had it and it's so little. Where did it go? Oh, guys. Is this one of those videos that I need to redo? Oh, there it is. How did it fall like under a bunch of things? What in the world? Okay, so I'm gonna do an eyeliner after, so with the shadow, and I'll show you how I do that. I just take the darkest shadow and then I just use that as the eyeliner, and that actually is going on really nicely. So, because I like my eyeliner to be a little bit more, you guys can see that, more like diffused as opposed to like a fine line. So all of you do your own makeup however you want to do it. Excuse me. Okay. Now, oh, don't fall over, mirror. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the other colors that are in this palette. And we're just going to add some color here on the ridge line out to the edge. And there's this interesting kind of shimmery yellow color, which we'll see how we do there. I don't know, we'll see, we'll see. I'm gonna use the makeup, crunchy makeup brush remover on this. This is not a crunchy brush though. And we're gonna go ahead and use that yellow in the middle, just as a highlight, to kind of make your eyes look bigger. And it's kind of a, you guys can see it's that yellower one. Okay, I'm gonna take, cleaning this off, I'm gonna take the lightest one and just go over on the highlights here and kind of blend it. And do this side. Do all of you have issues doing both eyes the same? I get so irritated because I want them to be the same. And I can never quite get them to be exactly the same. I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of blend them. This one looks like a little blumpy. Okay, let me do a little bit more of the actual eyeliner with the shadow here. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit under here, which usually goes away partway through the day. We'll see, just a little extra definition. Okay. And now I'm going to, and it fell over. I'm gonna do my mascara here and see how this holds up through the day. So part of the plan here is to, and I usually take the mascara out, and I don't like any clumps, so I take some of it off just because I don't want all of that on. But the goal here is to, can't talk and do this at the same time, is to see how well this wears. So let me get the mirror throughout the day. So that's the goal. Okay, so this isn't going on as smooth as I'd like. Again, I'm gonna think this is maybe a little too cold in my house. It's like flaking just a tad. Not so much, but we gotta see how this wears. So it's a fairly normal mascara. So what I mean by that is it's not doing anything different than normal mascaras do. And it's not annoying me too much, but it is flaking a little bit. And again, I'm gonna chalk that up to being so cold in here. So part of it is whenever you're using more naturally based products, oh, and I messed up. Temperature is an interesting issue, and here's why. They're using a lot of like natural waxes that can be a problem. And that's not going to come off as easily as I would like. Okay, so you know, I mean, one of the things when you're working, just consider that. So that's why, you know, we have to know temperature wise and whatnot. But this one, the eyelashes were okay, but nothing huge, right? So here, we'll get kind of close for you to see. It's just like a normal eyelash. And I will say, like, probably not the best for me to be doing it here, but we'll just see. So I think I have a mess up there as well. See it in this guy. And I would have to probably just do that with a closer mirror to actually see. So I know, Q-tips for for mascara issues, right? The color palette's not bad. I'm usually not a huge fan of like the pinker ones, but because of that yellow, it toned it down in the center. I kind of liked how that ended up looking. This kind of more yellow, it just warms it up, so it's not like all pink. So I went from like light to yellow to like a pinker. So this was an interesting palette for me. I wouldn't have thought that I would have liked this, but I do. So we'll see. This is too purple for me to use as an eyebrow. Oftentimes when I have the eyeliner, I pick a brown eye shadow, and then I'll use that to just kind of barely go over my brows. So that's helpful. Okay, so now there's a couple lipsticks here that are interesting. I got two different colors. One is, it doesn't say on here, so I'd have to look at that's weird. So they just have color balls on the bottom, but it doesn't say the actual color on the, does it? Anyhow, I don't know the colors, but this one is a browner one. So it's pink with a little bit of brown, and I'll pull the colors and show you kind of what they are, what I'm using, so that you know. Some of you are fair skinned like me, so maybe that could work for you. They do have glosses. Oh, those stained my lips. So this one is called Namaste. It's kind of similar to one of Young Living's. We have one that I love that is what is it called? Abundant, right? So this is similar, but not as sheer. But I did end up getting the, what is it even called? It's like transparency. So the transparency one is really nice. This is just that getting transparent gloss on your lips. So I could use something like this one to just take it down a little bit. I'm like not a real huge fan of like mixing my translucent. So I will just stick this on my finger here. There's not really a lot to get out, to get on your finger. This is, you know, just to kind of get a little bit of that on there. So it's there like that. So it's more color than I would typically wear. So that's why I like the translucent, because it just is a little bit less, but it looks nice and it feels okay. So what I'm going to do is tell you how my skin reacted, because again, this one has dimethicone in it, but the smallest amount. There's no other synthetics in the line other than a synthetic beeswax. So I think the lipsticks are, I think in maybe this, there's something, let me see, I was taking notes on it. There was a synthetic beeswax in one of their lip products. But as far as all the other products, like there was nothing in them but dimethicone. There's a couple glycols in the mascara. The gloss has synthetic beeswax. So again, not sure what that choice was for, but like the lip crayons are totally clean. The eyeliner is clean, but we didn't really use that because I couldn't get it to work. The eyeshadow has dimethicone in it. The Alibi has dimethicone, and the foundation has dimethicone, but again, low on the list, low on the ingredient list. So it's still dimethicone, synthetic, not toxic. So you can still be considered clean. They don't have any other things in their product, but that helps it stay on longer. So we're gonna see. Savvy's liquid foundation didn't have any dimethicone in it at all. Their powders didn't at all as well. It's just synthetic, so it makes it so that your face can't breathe. But again, in small amounts, I'm not sure. That's why I tend to break out though, is because it's, you know, the makeup is casing my face in on some companies that have too much dimethicone or other silicones as well, plus synthetic dyes, which is typical in a lot of these brands that say. that they're clean. So we're gonna see how this wears today, and then how easy it is to take off if I have any eye issues. And then I'm gonna give you a full review. Hopefully tonight we're gonna get back on here, but I would like to, I'd like to invite you guys on the live for our reviews on each of these. So we were doing them every Tuesday night, but it's a curious thing of like, how long can we go through all of these? 12 weeks worth. So I'm trying to do some of them just so that you guys can see them. I'm going to do Beauty Counter tomorrow, just to kind of, so you can see it. And wait, tomorrow's Saturday. I don't know, maybe we'll see when we can do that one. And we have another one left. So we're working through them, but I'd like to kind of make sure Bare Minerals has a full review as well. We didn't do a full one on that one. So looks pretty good. Looks natural. Again, the skin matched my face now. So now, we'll see what Tim has to say, and we'll see what the rest of you all have to say. But otherwise, hopefully this was helpful for you. And I like the line. I do. I would say I do like it. We'll just see how it wears. All right. Thanks, you guys. Take care.